watchers, dear listeners, dear Rock On fam. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, the one and only one where we explore how to grow, how to adapt, and lead in today's changing world. I'm your host, Rakaya Mani. So today's episode is all about change leadership. And I would like to start with a powerful quote from Mike Tyson. We all know him, right? So he said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Yes. So I think it's funny, but it's also deeply true, especially when it comes to leadership. And having a plan, it's totally easy at the end of the day. Leading through uncertainty and change is a whole different game, is another story. And this quote, it reminds us that it's possible to feel confident when things go according to the plan, even when you map all of the different thinkable risks. But when reality punches you, when the unexpected suddenly changes the rules, what matters is not how perfect your plan was, but how you respond and how you manage. And the truth is, very few transformations happen in a straight line. It's squiggly, it's bumpy. Real change leadership is about navigating through uncertainty and also staying effective after the punch. And let me tell you something. Right now, the pace of change is accelerating so much. And the more and more we move forward, the complexity also grows. That means leaders can't just prepare for a single punch. They need to prepare for a continuous wave of them, stronger and stronger as we go. And one of the key skills of effective leadership today is exactly this. It's leading change, it's growth and innovation in the middle of constant disruption and chaos. And now people often say, I hate change, right? And in my opinion, I believe that most people are actually okay with change. But what I think is that they hate ambiguity, they hate uncertainty. That's why whenever change is announced, people automatically ask, what's in it for me? What does it mean for me? Not out of selfishness, but to reduce the unknowns that affects their lives. They want to know, what is the purpose of this? Will this improve my job or my life? Will it make my work more meaningful or exciting, etc.? And so when people can see the positive outcomes, they actually embrace the change, even if it's inconvenient. And here's something crucial for leaders. Change leadership is less about making change desirable, and it's more about making it clear and show that it's inevitable. Yes. And the most important metric is whether they understand the change well enough to execute. People don't have to love a new system. They don't have to love a new process or a new way of working, no. But they do need to have a clear understanding of why it's happening, what is expected of them, and how they can move forward. Because clarity is what creates action. But no leader has to do it alone by themselves. In fact, the leaders who thrive in times of uncertainty are those who know how to leverage the collective skills. They are the ones who know how to leverage the creativity and ideas of their teams. When people feel involved in shaping the change, not just receiving it, they are more engaged and more resilient. Collective intelligence, it turns change from something imposed into something co-created, and that makes all the difference. Now, I will dive a little bit more into HR, people culture. Let me promote my own house, right? I have to. This ability to pivot clearly and quickly showed up to me powerfully during the COVID 19 pandemic. HR leaders who were sometimes seen as behind the scenes, only operational, they suddenly became frontline enablers. They helped businesses survive. And overnight, they had to rethink how companies operate, how to work remotely, how they were able to support employees' well being, and adapting policies and keeping companies alive and connected as well. Ensuring collaboration was still happening. They didn't have perfect plans for a global shutdown that never happened. Nobody did. But they had to understand adaptability. They showed that agility isn't about every answer, it's about the ability to move, the ability to decide and lead through uncertainty. And leaders need to have agility combined with clarity, as it beats rigid perfection every single time. So, if there is one thing I want you to take away from today's episode, it's this: leadership during change is not about selling people on a dream, no. It's about providing enough clarity and enough direction so that people can walk confidently into the unknown. You don't have to promise that everything will be easy. You don't have to make every change exciting either. You just have to make it understandable and actionable. Clarity and involvement are one part of the story. And leaders also need a way to know if change is actually taking hold and taking place. How do you know if clarity and involvement are truly working? That's where the Kirkpatrick framework comes in. I don't know if you've ever heard about this. It's a great tool, and it's usually used for learning and development, everything, related to training. But I think it could be incredibly relevant for change leadership. So, the Kirkpatrick framework, it looks at four levels. First, reaction. How do people feel about the change? Second, learning. Do they actually understand what's expected? Third, behavior. Are they applying it in their daily work? And finally, results. Is the change delivering the outcomes that we want? So, when you use this type of lens, it helps leaders to go beyond announcements and measure whether change is real, whether it's embedded and effective. Because at the end of the day, for me, leadership is all about enabling transformation, accompanying and sustaining a transformation, and going through everything that can happen through a transformation. So, thank you very much for tuning into this episode of Rock On. I hope it sparked something, it sparked any thoughts, and helped you see leadership through a different view. So, please share it with someone who might need it today. And remember, it's not about avoiding the punches, it's about learning how to lead right through them. Until next time, rock on. Please like, share, and comment. Thank you very much.